Welcome to Screw the Commute, the entrepreneurial podcast dedicated to getting you out of the car and into the money. With your host, lifelong entrepreneur and multimillionaire, Tom Antion.
Hey everybody, welcome to Screw the Commute. This is episode number 9, and we've got a really great guest. I really love this guy. I don't really totally understand all the stuff he teaches, but I know a lot of people like it, that's for sure. We got to do a little message from our sponsor. What do you think? We got to tell you about my school, the Internet Marketing Training Center of Virginia. Please, I'm begging you, don't spend a nickel on higher education until you watch our webinar. If you go to screwthecommute.com, we'll have a link there to the webinar. If you have nephews, nieces, adults that want to retrain themselves, don't spend a nickel on higher education until you watch this webinar. We'll have it in the show notes at screwthecommute.com. All right, let's get to the main event. Dusty White is the #1 bestseller of the book, The Easiest Way to Learn Tarot Ever, and Advanced Tarot Secrets. He is one of the best astrology and tarot teachers in the world. He turns beginners into professionals and professionals into highly paid consultants. I got one question for you, Dusty. Are you ready to screw?
Yes.
The commute, that is.
Hey,
It's the commute.
Yes. I'm good at screwing things up.
So, Dusty, I'm so glad you're here, man. Tell everybody what you do.
Well, look, thanks, Tom. It's really good to be here. Now, as for me, my mission in life, I don't care how hokey it sounds. This is what I live and walk every day. I'm here to rid the world of this hokey, new age, fluffy BS. That's the problem is that serious metaphysical research has been taken over by a whole bunch of new age stuff, and it just drives me crazy. So what I do is I reach out to help serious students of knowledge expand their awareness and their intuition, and then use these tools that we're all born with to get actual tangible results to enhance the quality of their life. Now, at the moment, it just happens that we're working with divination and the science of astrology.
And what's that? Do I hear birds singing in the background?
Yes, I live. Oh my God, Tom.
That's good.
Thanks to you, I am living in the enchanted forest of the redwoods. I got birds everywhere, bunnies in my backyard.
This is perfect for our podcast. Normally, I would say, nah, we can't do it. There's too much noise. But this is perfect for your topic and your persona, because when people get to know you, this is perfect. Birds. I'm thinking, am I going crazy? Am I hearing birds singing in my head? So, well, let me ask you, did you ever have a job?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, I've had plenty of bad ones. Tom, I used to be that guy that would bang on your door asking if you wanted to have your address painted on the curb.
Oh, I shot a couple of those guys.
See, no, I get that. I've had that response before. I did that for too many years, and every day I would be hearing about all these people making money on the internet. Well, I'm just covered with paint. I'm being chased down the street by angry dogs. I'm telling you, and I knew about the internet. And I was thinking, what am I doing wrong? I mean, I know, keep in mind, of course, this is all before I met you.
Well, of course, yeah. I'm still cracking up with those birds in the background. It kind of reminds me of the old Three Stooges where they'd punch Curly and then you'd see birds going around his head.
Well, keep in mind, I'm the metaphysical master. The nature flows around me.
And I forgot to ask you about, before I ask you about the job, you said divination, but I don't know what that is. What is that?
Divination comes in many forms. People have been using playing cards, tarot cards, dice. Divination is the non-denominational part of religion where you're asking. Most people like to say God. Some people like to say the universe. All we're doing is we're seeking outside of our logical cranial knowledge. Is there some way I can prognosticate or get more information. And so divination is just reaching out to the ethereal and saying, give me more information. And that's older than time. And it comes in and falls out of favor depending on the era.
All right. So let's get back to the job thing. You were painting sidewalks and getting chased by dogs and shot at by me.
Yes.
So exactly what was the turning point when you said, you know what, I've had enough of this. I've had enough dog bites on my butt that I need to do something else. What was the point in your life that you made that decision?
Oh, man.
Do you remember?
I do. It had to be the point where I realized, it finally got to me that I just wasn't following my dreams full time. Tom, in all humility, I'm a damn good teacher, and I've got several best-selling books, but you and I both know that authors and teachers just don't get paid that well on average.
Mm-hmm. That's for sure.
And so, oh, yay, I've got books and everything, but it wasn't working for me. So I saved up $5,000 to move to Las Vegas to live with my friend because he had a big house. And I thought, okay, I'm going to just really focus on book sales and maybe paint curbs if I have to. And the moment I moved in, I found out that this Author University 101 thing was happening. It was like God spoke. It was like, oh, you're here. This is happening 5 minutes from your house next week. Now, paid my rent 6 months in advance. I didn't have any money, and I was so angry. And so I just snuck in the back door.
Is that right? I didn't know that.
I think people are paying like $500-$700, and I snuck in the back door. I got to thank Rick Christian one day. But Tom, I need to tell you something real quick about this. Obviously you were at that event because that's where the story goes. But after 3 days of book marketing gurus up there just trying to sell me $5,000 and $10,000 packaged courses, I was getting really, really depressed. And then you're like, hey, everybody, I'm having a pizza party. And of course I went, pizza? So Zoom, I was the first one in the room. But I felt like a creepy stalker because I just watched and waited in the back. And I absorbed all of it, and there's a huge line of people that all wanted to meet Tom. So I waited till everybody spoke to you, and I walked up, and I remember my words. I said, I will work my butt off to be your number one student. Now, if you remember, I was wearing blue jeans and a tuxedo T-shirt and feathers in my hair.
I know, you kind of look like an Indian reject, I think it was.
Right. Thank you very much. Yay. So I felt really out of place because I'm an author. I even had an old-fashioned like British book strap, and everybody else was like, I'm in suit and tie and got a briefcase. I was, oh, I'm out of place. But the point is,
but you had sold more books than most of the people in the room.
Well,
that was
probably
funny.
To this day too. but the thing is, for some reason, you took me on, and I followed your instructions. And I need this to be really clear. I was broke, but in that first month, because I remember we went through our first meeting.
I kind of remember that too, yeah.
And the turning point was, you said, well, let's just get that, I was like, I need money. You said, well, let's just get that out of the way. Let's make some money. And within my first month, blam, I had $7,000 and my brain exploded. I was like, wait, I saved $5,000 over 6 months of painting addresses and paying and I walk in, do this thing. I didn't have to leave my house. And of course, so at the time I was like, oh my God, it's the best thing ever. That 1 month is really what changed my life. And I got to say, over the past 6 years of working with you, I have not had to have a job. I founded a highly respected tarot museum that's now the authority for researchers and collectors.
Beautiful.
But I've been able to personally teach hundreds of students how to build a new income while developing their intuitive skills. So look, I don't care what people think. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. What would you say to people that are thinking about, making that jump from painting sidewalks or walking dogs or whatever they're doing, that they wish they were in their own business? What would you tell them?
Oh my God, I wish I had a bigger microphone. just do it, whatever it takes. Life is too short. I mean, I found this out the hard way. Life is too short to waste your life making somebody else rich or working at a job where you're not in control of your life. I tell my students, look, we all need a retirement plan, and this internet thing ain't going away. I tell my students that you're never too old to make $100 an hour or more reading the tarot. And the best part is your boss can't hire you and replace you with another blankety blank millennial.
That's a good idea. I want a little clarification on this. So how do the people make money? Do they go to parties? Do they go to fairs? How does a person make money reading tarot?
Well, this is awesome. So I teach online, so that's where the internet part comes in. You could read online for people, and that's where a lot of people start, but the problem is they get stuck there. So I've got one student, Natasha, does YouTube videos. We started with her, and over 3 months we got her from 0 to 1 million views on YouTube.
Oh, wow.
And then that just got her a whole bunch of people clamoring for her to read. My one student, Mandy, is going to be doing the Strawberry Fair. She was working the psychic hotlines, getting like 20 cents a minute. And then she went to the market, that's a British term. She went to like the street fair, and she's the only psychic there. They got, jewelry, tarot, whatever. I mean, I have jewelry, tarot, whatever they sell over there, bangers and mash. And she's the only reader there, and she's cleaning out. And now she's doing a fair on Saturday for 35,000 people. Yeah, parties. It's only limited by your imagination of where can you go, because there's always people who want to know, what's going on. Am I going to make any money? Is so-and-so cheating on me? Tell me, how I can do things.
See, this is a perfect example, Dusty, of this is something that's so foreign to me. I have no interest in it. I have no idea what it is, what it's about, but you're making a good living at it. You're helping other people make a living at it, because there's enormous numbers of markets out there. Just because I don't particularly buy that kind of stuff, apparently tens of thousands or more, hundreds of thousands of people do. So if you have an idea, and just because one person might poo-poo, it doesn't mean it's not a viable idea. And if you go back to our episode 1 on keyword research, I imagine tarot has got enormous numbers of searches out there, because that's how how they find you. Now, give us 3 tips about either what you do or working for yourself, anything that would help the people out there.
Well, okay. One of my heroes in life, J. Paul Getty, was once asked his secret for being the world's richest man. And he said, wake up early, work hard, strike oil. And literally that's what I do. It sounds kind of, I could wake up early, wait, strike oil. I think what he meant with strike oil is reach inside yourself. Find that thing that's special, because we all, and again, you were just talking about it with the internet. There's no magic formula. It's not like, you got to do this, you got to do that. The internet is nothing more than a billion people that want something, and we all have something special. So I just basically, I want to give you a couple of tips real quick that have worked for me. Hopefully this will help for everybody who's listening. I stopped investing my time and hard work for a boss. I invest my time and hard work helping people, and they like my sincerity and my depth of commitment so much that they pay me pretty well. Now, as far as the other points, I stay focused on the needs of my students, and I invest in expert advice instead of shiny new toys. My car seriously needs some work, but my car, that's right, I don't have to commute.
Exactly.
In the driveway.
Screw it, right?
I've been able to invest in my business, and that recipe has kept me out of a job for quite some time now. So that's all I got to say is, invest in yourself, not toys or making somebody else rich.
That's perfect. Now, have you ever gotten screwed in business, and what'd you do about
it? Let me count the ways. Oh, okay. This is a mea culpa. I got sucked into wasting. You're going to shoot me. I know this, and I knew better at the time. I got sucked into wasting $10,000 on a website developer.
I had a heart attack.
I never thought it would happen to me, but you know what? I know more than Tom. I don't even know what was going on in my head. But okay, now I'm just going to be paying that website off for a while. But what I realized, again, 6 months on a web design,
you
10,
literally could have 100 world-class websites for that amount of money, by the way.
Yes, and that site lasted me 2 months.
Oh,
so I realized I needed to get back, just teach, create extreme value for my students. And you know what I did? I spent $20. I got a cheap WordPress site. I stopped being fancy, and instantly I made my money back right away. And matter of fact, that cheap little WordPress site is actually making a lot more money for me. And I think that's really been the number one best kept secret. Cheap WordPress site. Don't be fancy. Focus on what you do that people want.
Beautiful. Now tell us something funny or bizarre that's happened in your business.
Tom, I don't need to tell you, a lot of people think this whole tarot thing sounds a little hokey because look, I get it. $5 special or Kitty Kingston and Madame Cleo. All we see is the garbage, but bear with me for just a moment. So I just finished teaching up a student in Europe, and I had a quick break before my next student. I was really, really hungry. And I was in Vegas, by the way. And so here I am in Vegas. I'm teaching in Europe. I'm teaching in Australia. God bless the internet. So I'm dying of hunger. I really wanted a Pizza Hut pizza, but I didn't have any time. So I thought, and this is where it gets weird. I was like, what the heck? Why not ask my cards as a joke, right? So the question, I really threw myself in there. I was like, look, should I try to run to Pizza Hut real quick and get back in time? Or should I have it delivered and hope he shows up on time? So I'm just like, and a card flips out of the deck. Now, it could have been any one of 78 cards. And there's no pizza card in the internet. I'm looking at this thing, and I've looked at this card literally tens and thousands of times before. But at that moment, I'm seeing this guy, and he's got a red and black and white costume, and I was like, hey, that looks like a Pizza Hut delivery guy. And then floating over his head are these 6 yellow circles that look like pizza slices. And my head exploded. It was like, have it delivered. And I was like, oh, thank you very much. And he's dropping chicken wings into a guy's hands who's like, I'm so hungry. I bonded with that card. It's a goofy story. I tell it to my students, but that's a real life thing where I was seeking information, and the one card out of the deck just happened to spark something in my intuition. And it's good, because otherwise I never would have been able to make it through that. That's my story.
The Pizza Tarot, man. Awesome. So what do you like best about working for yourself?
Oh, man. Tom, I prided myself. I was always a great employee. I worked hard for my bosses. And over the years, I realized none of them ever gave me a big fat bonus or took me into their office and, oh, thank you, Dusty. Here's a partnership. And I was stunned. I was like, wait, don't I work hard? Aren't you supposed to, make me your partner? Look, working for myself, and especially online, I can work any time of the day or night I like. I save a ton of money on gas. I'm from Los Angeles, the place that you can't drive anywhere.
Right.
Just not having to fight traffic. Oh my God. And dare I say, I like my boss.
That's the best reason. Yeah, but you know what the boss spelled backwards is, don't you? Double SOB.
Yes. And believe me, I am a double SOB inside my head. It's like, you get to work. I don't want to go. Get to work.
So what's the worst thing about working for yourself?
Oh man. All right, I don't know if I can answer this question, because you see, this may sound strange, but I actually feel guilty sometimes about having such a great life. I mean, especially, compared to what I did before. There's no drawbacks. I do have to kick myself out of bed every morning, but after wandering around like a zombie until my first 3 cups of coffee, my days are great. I'm sorry, I don't see any downsides to working for myself.
That's beautiful. Well, we need to take just a brief break to get a message from our sponsor, and we will be right back in 38.272 seconds.
Today, almost 2 billion of you will go online, retrieving over 100 billion searches for information, goods, and services, and 6 million of you will view a page on the internet before this commercial is over. The world has changed, and so has the way we do business. At the Internet Marketing Training Center, you can study online at your pace to fit your schedule, and you can graduate with the skills and knowledge to compete in the global marketplace or start your own home-based business. Call us today or go online at imtcva.org because it's about time. Yours.
Okay, we're back with Dusty White. And actually, tell us what's a typical day look like for you, Dusty.
Oh, let's see. Okay, after I dezombify.
What does that mean?
Well, I wake up, and I'm not a morning person, but I wake up, drag myself through the coffee, and you know what? I just get right to what's most important. If I may say this, I've learned a little secret. I've learned to push email down the list because I'm really good at writing emails all day. And the next thing I know, I've spent a day writing emails, not doing business.
Okay.
All right. So that's that. Here's what I do. I wake up, get myself ready to go, and I spend my days teaching students all over the world by phone or Skype. It's the best job. And then the rest of the time, I'm just working on my website, working on my next book, or attending Harvard University online. But I have to say, having graduated my first sessions, my first couple of semesters with straight A's, I am now heavily invested in the Internet Marketing School. And I got to tell you, because you have.
In other words, you're moving up from that kind of, Harvard, low-level school to a good school finally. I'm glad to hear that.
Well, I got to say, this is real-world application. I'm really liking what I'm learning.
Well, yeah, it's all nuts and bolts. That's why we push it so heavily, because many of the colleges are just keep raising the tuition and nobody's learning anything, and they get credit for protesting, but they're working at Starbucks when they get done. Okay, so that's a pretty nice day you got there, but you got a new book coming out, don't you?
Absolutely. And I'm glad you asked. It's been 6 years. That's another thing. A book might take me 6 years. That's no way to pay your rent. Now, it is called The Easiest Way to Learn Astrology Ever. But what I'm really excited is we're going to be doing an online course, and I can actually personally teach people this. So, yeah, I got a book coming out and the astrology course coming out. But
when's the book coming out?
It's going to be published this fall.
Okay, so we'll whenever it gets done, we'll put a link to it in the show notes for this show. I think this is show number 9. I think I said, yeah, it's number 9. So we'll put, whenever you get the link to it, we'll put it in the show notes so people can get a hold of it. So how do you? Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I think people will like it. It demystifies a lot of the stuff.
Beautiful. Now, how do you stay motivated?
Well, when I first started out, I was so excited about not having a boring day job that it was easy to stay motivated. But like anything else, after a time, I had to kind of put up little reminders of my mission was and how it was worth all the hard work. But honestly, these days, how do I stay motivated? I just focus on creating insane value for my students. And I never really have to think of motivation. I think being able to do what I love, it's like I'm a kid in a candy store. And this is why I'm kind of an evangelist on get out there, do something with your life, because it's like a dream job. And I think that's the best motivation of all.
Yeah, and I know you do insane value because I know for a fact you have students that after the course is over refuse to leave.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, Tom, keep in mind, I'm one of your students. I'm not going to have you come out here and kick my ass for putting out crap content.
That's right, and I do that. I don't put up with any worthless stuff like you see on the internet all the time. Now, do you have any parting thoughts for all the screwballs that are listening to this?
Yes. Don't make my mistakes. At 30, 40 years old, working for somebody else, or painting addresses. I don't mean to sound harsh, but to anybody, just stop wasting your life and start doing what you love. And you know what? If you can do it online, I found out the hard way. It'd be cheaper, easier, and faster. I'm telling you this from the heart. Get advice from an expert. Growing up, I watched my dad fail in so many businesses. And a teenager, I said, I'm never going to follow in his footsteps. So I work hard. I'm the best there is at what I do. But the things that I suck at, that's where I get advice, like marketing or internet tech stuff. I hire the best expert to help me, because I want to focus on what I'm doing best instead of screwing it up. And that's where I've screwed it up in the past. So this is just my wish for everybody listening. Hire a pro, get a mentor if you possibly can, and then you just focus on what you do best and screw the commute. Leave it to the other guy.
Good advice. Good advice. So how do people reach you if they want to get in some of your courses or ask you questions or what?
Oh, that's easy. Reach out through the force. Touch me psychically. Okay, I'm sorry. This is a stupid psychic joke. Seriously, I answer every email. It might take me a little while, but I'm super easy to find. My name is Dusty White. My email is me@dustywhite.net. And
that's .net, right? .com.
.net.com. And you know what?
And we'll have that in the show notes for you.
One other thing, I think that's a real key to success is be there when people want to contact you. Mm-hmm. And you answer your phone, I answer my phone. I think that's really what helps is don't wall off.
Yeah, many people want to just give the least value, the least work, and make the most money. And that's opposite to success.
It never works out that way.
No, it's opposite to success. I don't have to do what I do, but I do it because I believe in my business. I believe in helping people. And so, yeah, we answer the phone around here. We got a whole team of people to do it. And it's important to take care of people. You know,
well, let me just jump in and say, I'm a living, breathing testimonial. When I met you, feathers in my hair and all, I was literally flat broke and just hoping to get my books selling. My books are now selling better than ever. I haven't had to have a job for at least 6 years, and I'm never going back to a job. And all I did was I followed your advice because you can have great content, but if you don't know how to get it out there and market properly, no one is ever going to care and nobody's going to know.
Mm-hmm. That's right. You'll be the best kept secret there is. Thanks so much, Dusty, for taking time out to help our folks. And I want them all to visit the show notes and go over and see all Dusty's offerings. If that's the kind of stuff you like, he's the man for it because he's honest. I got to say this about this guy. When he was at that first meeting, I didn't know what to think about it. But the thing is over time, you get to know somebody. He is the most honest, the most credible person in his field. And even if it wasn't in his field, he's an honest person. And a lot of you know about my anti-scam efforts and my consumer advocate work in Scam Brigade. That's scambrigade.com if you want to go see our TV show trailer. He's the epitome of honesty, and you just can't go wrong dealing with this guy. So thank you, Dusty, for being that way in the world.
Thank you very much. And again, anybody else, Tom's the man. I wouldn't do this without him. All right, look, thank you very much for your time, Tom. I really appreciate you having me on.
Yes, it was a great show. So everybody, check out the show notes at screwthecommute.com, and you'll see ways to get a hold of Dusty, and you'll see all the things mentioned in the show. Please leave us a review. We have 2 links for you to leave us a review. One, if you're going to leave a good review, you click on the good link. If you're going to leave a bad review, you click on a bad link that doesn't go anywhere. Or it might go to somebody else's podcast. So there you go. Anyway, go out there and screw the commute, everybody. See you later.